Stop scrolling. Because the next few minutes might make you look at love, timing, and God's plan in a completely different way. Before you leave, ask yourself one question. Have you ever felt like someone was connected to your story, even before you met them? Have you ever wondered if somewhere in this world there is someone praying for the same kind of love you are waiting for? Someone who will understand your heart. Not just your smile. Not just your success. But the battles you fought when nobody was watching. Stay until the end. Because this is not just a story about two people finding each other. This is a story about timing, healing, faith, and the mysterious ways life brings people together when they are finally ready. Imagine this. Someone walks into a quiet room carrying a question in their heart. Not a question about money. Not a question about fame. Not a question about the future. A question about someone they have never been able to forget. Who is this person? Why does my heart feel connected to someone I haven't met yet? Why do I feel like there is a story waiting for me? They sit there quietly, searching for answers. But what they discover is not what they expected. Because sometimes the greatest discovery is not about finding another person. Sometimes it is about discovering yourself first. The person sitting in that room had spent years wondering about love. They had seen relationships fall apart. They had watched people promise forever and disappear when things became difficult. They started believing that maybe real love only existed in stories. Maybe they were asking for too much. Maybe their heart was too sensitive. Maybe they were destined to walk alone. But deep inside, a small voice still believed. A small voice said, "Don't give up. Your story is not finished. Your heart still has something beautiful waiting." And maybe someone listening right now needs to hear that. Maybe you have been disappointed. Maybe you have loved someone who did not value you. Maybe you gave your best and still ended up hurt. But your past does not decide your future. A closed chapter does not mean the entire book is finished. If you believe that God is still writing your story, comment, "My story is not over." Not because a comment changes your destiny, but because sometimes declaring hope reminds your own heart that you still believe. And someone else reading those words may need that reminder too. Because behind every screen is a person. A real person. Someone who has cried silently. Someone who has prayed silently. Someone who has wondered silently, will I ever find the love I was created for? Now imagine this scene. The room becomes quiet. The person asking questions receives an unexpected response. Not a prediction. Not a guarantee. But a reminder. A reminder that every person carries a story. A reminder that love is not about finding someone perfect. Love is about finding someone willing to grow. Someone willing to understand. Someone willing to choose you even on the difficult days. The truth is, many people are searching for a soulmate while forgetting something important. Before you meet the right person, you have to become the right person. You have to heal the wounds you hide. You have to forgive the people who hurt you. You have to stop believing that your value depends on whether someone chooses you. Because you were valuable before anyone arrived. Your worth was never created by another person's love. Your worth came from the fact that you were created with purpose. And when you understand that, you stop chasing love from a place of emptiness. You start receiving love from a place of wholeness. The story continues. The person begins to realize something powerful. Maybe the reason love had not arrived yet was not because they were forgotten. Maybe it was because they were being prepared. Prepared to recognize something deeper. Prepared to appreciate something genuine. Prepared to understand that the right connection is not only about attraction. It is about peace. It is about respect. It is about two people helping each other become better. And maybe, somewhere right now, someone is also becoming ready. Someone is healing. Someone is learning. Someone is becoming the person who can finally love you the way you deserve. But until that moment comes, do not put your life on pause. Do not stop growing. Do not stop smiling. Do not stop becoming everything God created you to be. Because your life is not waiting for someone else to begin. Your life is already happening. And the most beautiful relationships are not built by two incomplete people searching for someone to save them. They are built by two people who have learned to walk with faith and choose each other. The story is only beginning. Because what happens next reveals the hidden lesson behind every waiting season. And why sometimes the delay before love arrives is actually preparing your heart for something greater. The waiting season. Almost everyone experiences it. That season when you look around and wonder, why does it seem like everyone else has found what they are looking for? Why am I still waiting? Why does my heart feel ready, but my life hasn't changed yet? Those questions can be heavy. Especially at night. When the world becomes quiet. When distractions disappear. And the thoughts you tried to avoid suddenly become louder. You remember the people who left. The promises that were broken. The moments when you thought, this is the person. Only to discover that sometimes the person you love is not always the person who is meant to walk with you forever. And that truth can hurt. Because a heart does not just lose a person. A heart loses dreams. Plans. Imagined futures. The life you thought you were going to live. But sometimes God closes a door because He sees what you cannot see. Sometimes the relationship you begged to keep was the very thing preventing you from becoming who you were created to be. Sometimes losing someone is not the end of your story. Sometimes it is the beginning of your healing. The person in this story learned something important. They had spent so much time searching for someone who would choose them, that they forgot to choose themselves. They forgot their own dreams. They forgot their own worth. They forgot that before anyone else could love them deeply, they had to learn how to love themselves. Because love is not supposed to complete a person who feels empty. Love is supposed to walk beside someone who already knows they have value. And that realization changed everything. They started looking at their past differently. The heartbreaks were no longer only painful memories. They became lessons. The disappointments were no longer only losses. They became protection. The lonely nights were no longer only moments of sadness. They became moments where they discovered their own strength. Maybe you are in that season right now. Maybe you are waiting for someone. Maybe you are waiting for healing. Maybe you are waiting for a new beginning. And it feels like nothing is happening. But remember this, a seed does not grow because someone keeps digging it up to check if it is growing. A seed grows when it is planted, protected, and given time. Your life works the same way. Some things need time before they become visible. Some prayers need patience before they become answers. Some blessings require preparation before they become reality. And sometimes the greatest thing God can give you is not what you are asking for. It is the strength to handle what you are asking for. Imagine two people. Both carrying their own stories. Both healing from their own battles. Both learning lessons they needed to learn. And somewhere along the way, their paths begin moving closer. Not because everything was perfect. Not because they never made mistakes. But because they became ready. Ready to communicate. Ready to forgive. Ready to love without fear. Ready to build something real. Because true connection is not about finding someone who has no flaws. It is about finding someone whose heart is willing to grow. Someone who says, I don't need you to be perfect. I want to understand you. I want to support you. I want to build something meaningful with you. That kind of love is rare. And that kind of love requires two people who have done the inner work. Now let me ask you something. If you could tell your future partner one thing right now, what would you say? Would you say, "I hope you are happy. I hope you are healing. I hope you are becoming the person you were meant to be"? Write one sentence in the comments. Not as a prediction. Not as a promise. But as a beautiful expression of hope. Because sometimes the words we write are the prayers our hearts have been carrying. The person in this story eventually understood something that changed their entire perspective. They were not waiting for someone to complete them. They were becoming someone who could share a complete life with another person. And that difference matters. Because when you stop searching from a place of loneliness, you begin recognizing love from a place of peace. You stop asking, "Will someone choose me?" And you start believing, "I am already worthy of love." You stop accepting less because you are afraid of being alone. You stop ignoring red flags because you want a relationship so badly. You stop confusing attention with love. Because real love brings peace. Real love brings respect. Real love brings growth. And maybe that is the message someone needs today. Do not rush into the wrong story because you are afraid of waiting for the right one. A beautiful future is worth preparing for. A healthy relationship is worth waiting for. A love built on faith, kindness, and honesty is worth protecting. Because the greatest love stories are not the ones that happen quickly. They are the ones that happen when two people are finally ready. And that is where this story takes an unexpected turn. Because the person who was searching for answers discovered that the most important connection they needed first was the connection with their own purpose, their own faith, and the person they were becoming. There are moments in life when everything becomes clear. Not because every question is answered. Not because every problem disappears. But because your heart finally understands something it could not understand before. The person in this story reached that moment. For so long, they were searching outside themselves. Searching for someone who would see them. Someone who would understand them. Someone who would stay. But one day, they realized something powerful. Before you find someone who truly sees you, you have to stop hiding from yourself. You have to stop believing the lies that say you are not enough. You have to stop measuring your worth by who stayed and who left. Because people can walk away. But that does not mean you were not valuable. People can misunderstand you. But that does not mean you were not worthy of understanding. People can fail to appreciate you. But that does not mean you were not precious. Sometimes the world overlooks what heaven already knows. Your heart matters. Your kindness matters. Your journey matters. Every prayer you whispered when nobody heard. Every tear you wiped away when nobody saw. Every moment you chose hope when giving up felt easier. Those moments shaped you. They created a strength inside you that cannot be bought. And maybe that is why your journey had to happen this way. Because the person you are becoming is stronger than the person you used to be. Think about a diamond. It does not become valuable because it avoids pressure. It becomes valuable because it survives it. Think about gold. It is purified through fire. And sometimes people are the same. The difficult seasons are not always destroying you. Sometimes they are refining you. Removing what no longer belongs. Teaching you what truly matters. Preparing you for something greater. The person in this story looked back at everything they had experienced. The heartbreaks. The disappointments. The moments when they felt forgotten. And instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" they began asking, "What did this teach me?" That question changed everything. Because healing begins when we stop only looking at our wounds. And start discovering the wisdom they gave us. Maybe you have a wound too. Maybe someone hurt you. Maybe someone left without explaining. Maybe someone made you question your own worth. But please remember, someone else's inability to love you properly does not mean you were difficult to love. Someone else's choices do not define your value. Someone else's rejection does not cancel your purpose. You are still worthy. You are still loved. You are still capable of experiencing beautiful things. And if you believe your future can still be filled with blessings, right, something beautiful is coming. Not because we know exactly what tomorrow will bring, but because hope is a choice. Faith is a choice. And choosing hope can change the way you walk through life. Now imagine the moment when the letter, the questions, and the search finally led to the greatest discovery. The person realized that the answer was never simply about finding a soulmate. It was about becoming someone who could recognize healthy love when it arrived. Because sometimes people ask, when will the right person come? But a deeper question is, am I becoming the person who can build the right relationship? Are you becoming someone who communicates? Someone who forgives? Someone who knows their boundaries? Someone who loves with wisdom instead of fear? Because the love you desire requires the person you are becoming. The most beautiful relationships are not built on desperation. They are built on two people who say, I choose you. Not because I need you to fix me. Not because I cannot live without you. But because I have found purpose in my own life. And I want to share that journey with you. That is the kind of love worth waiting for. The kind of love that brings peace instead of confusion. The kind of love that brings growth instead of fear. The kind of love that feels like partnership instead of pressure. And maybe the reason you have waited so long is not because love forgot you. Maybe you were being protected from something that was not meant for you. Maybe you were being prepared for something healthier. Maybe your story needed more chapters before the right person could understand the whole book. Because someone who truly loves you will not only love your best moments. They will understand your difficult ones too. They will not only celebrate your victories. They will stand beside you during your battles. They will not only love who you are today. They will support who you are becoming tomorrow. And that kind of connection is worth more than a temporary feeling. It is built with patience. With honesty. With faith. With two hearts choosing each other again and again. So if you are watching this and wondering if love is still possible, let this be your reminder, your heart is not too broken. Your story is not too complicated. Your past is not too heavy. There is still room for beautiful things. There is still room for new beginnings. There is still room for joy. Because life can surprise you. The chapter you thought was the ending could become the beginning of something you never expected. And the person you are becoming may be exactly who your future needs. The story is not about chasing someone. It is about becoming someone. Someone who walks with confidence. Someone who knows their worth. Someone who trusts God's timing. Someone who understands that true love is not found through desperation. It is recognized through peace. And when the right connection comes, you will not have to beg for it. You will not have to lose yourself to keep it. You will not have to question whether you matter. Because the right love will remind you of something you should have always known: you were valuable before anyone chose you. You were loved before anyone found you. And your story was always worth telling. And now, we reach the final page of this story. But maybe it is not really the final page. Maybe it is the beginning of a new way of seeing your own life. Because the greatest discovery was never just about finding another person. The greatest discovery was realizing that you were never incomplete. You were never a half waiting for someone else to become whole. You were already a person with dreams. A person with purpose. A person with a heart that survived things nobody else knew about. And that matters. Sometimes we spend years waiting for someone to choose us, while forgetting that every day we have the opportunity to choose ourselves. Choose healing. Choose growth. Choose peace. Choose faith. Choose the belief that our best days are not behind us. The person in this story finally understood something that changed everything. Love is not a rescue mission. The right person does not arrive to erase your story. They arrive to become a beautiful part of it. They do not take away your identity. They encourage you to become more of who God created you to be. They do not complete your purpose. They walk beside you as you live it. And that is the kind of love worth praying for. The kind of love that is patient. The kind of love that listens. The kind of love that forgives. The kind of love that stays through ordinary days, not just exciting moments. Because real love is not only found in perfect sunsets and beautiful memories. Real love is found in difficult conversations. In choosing kindness when emotions are high. In saying, "We will get through this. We will grow through this. We will keep choosing each other." That kind of love is built. It is not discovered by accident. It is created through two people who understand that commitment is a daily choice. And maybe someone listening today needed this reminder. Maybe you have been wondering if you missed your chance. Maybe you believe everyone else found their person except you. Maybe you think time has passed you by. But remember, a flower does not bloom because another flower blooms before it. A sunrise does not apologize for arriving at its own time. Your journey has its own timing. Your story has its own rhythm. And what is meant for your life does not need you to destroy your peace to find it. Do not chase what requires you to lose yourself. Do not beg for a place where you are not valued. Do not accept a love that makes you question your worth. Because you were created for a love that brings peace. A love that brings respect. A love that brings you closer to God, not further away. So tonight, if your heart feels tired, rest. If your heart feels wounded, heal. If your heart feels uncertain, trust. The waiting season is not empty. The quiet season is not meaningless. The hidden season is not wasted. Sometimes the deepest roots grow in the seasons nobody notices. And one day, you may look back at this chapter of your life and say, "I understand now. I understand why some doors closed. I understand why some people left. I understand why I had to grow before I received what I prayed for." Because sometimes God is not denying your dream. Sometimes He is preparing you for it. Now I want to ask you something. If you could send one message to your future partner, one message from your heart, what would you say? Would you say, "I hope you are becoming the person you were created to be. I hope you are healing. I hope you are finding peace. I hope our paths cross when we are both ready"? Write your answer in the comments. Not as a prediction. Not as a promise of the future. But as a beautiful reminder of the kind of love and life you hope to build. Because someone else reading your words might find encouragement. Someone might realize they are not the only one waiting. Someone might remember that hope is still alive. And before this story ends, remember this: you are not forgotten. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not impossible to love. Your past does not disqualify your future. Your mistakes do not cancel your purpose. Your scars do not make you less beautiful. They are evidence that you survived. And the same heart that survived pain can experience joy again. The same heart that cried can laugh again. The same heart that lost can love again. Never underestimate what God can rebuild. A broken dream can become a new purpose. A painful chapter can become a powerful testimony. A lonely season can become a season of transformation. So keep your heart open. Keep growing. Keep believing. Not because life will always be easy, but because you are stronger than the moments that tried to break you. And if this message reached you today, take it as a reminder, your story is still being written. There are pages you have not read yet. There are blessings you have not experienced yet. There are moments ahead that will make you grateful you kept going. The love you are searching for begins with the love you learn to give yourself. The peace you are waiting for begins with the faith you carry today. And the future you dream about begins with the choices you make right now. So walk forward with hope. Walk forward with courage. Walk forward knowing that your life has meaning. Because you are not waiting for your story to begin. Your story has already started. And the most beautiful chapters may still be ahead.